This is the Night Wolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the Transformers Studio Series 86 Buzzworthy Bumblebee version of Cliffjumper. That was quite the mouthful. The Buzzworthy Bumblebee line was an exclusive set of figures for Target. Basically, they were just repaints of previously released figures. In a lot of cases, probably not all of them, the repaints were actually better than the originals. You know, the front's kind of plain. On the one side, it's just generic. And it looks like they're kind of showing figures from different eras, actually. Well, which makes sense because Buzzworthy Bumblebee was grabbing figures from different series. On the side, we just see Cliffjumper here with 86 for the movie. The product shots on the back are actually different than the final product in this case, mostly because of the translucent plastic used in the product shot, and that's not being used on this one. Let's open it up. You know, this is actually my first time opening up a Studio Series Buzzworthy Bumblebee figure. I wasn't actually expecting it to come with the background, so that's cool. And this actually looks really good. And I'm trying to think. I don't think the original Cliffjumper came with. Actually, I don't think the original was the original Cliffjumper a Studio Series. I don't remember. So I almost threw out the skis on this thing because I didn't realize that they were up there. Anyway, so Cliffjumper here has some parts forming. Now, obviously, there have been probably at least a half dozen, if not more, figures based on this mold. So I have transformed it many times in the past, but it's been a while, so we'll see if I can still do it. Cliffjumper's backpack, you can use it as a shield on him if you want, which is to me always a cop out. Or you can just place it on his back like so, which is probably where most people store it. He's got parts to make a rifle or an energon bazooka. You know, when we're done with this, I'm going to look at the instructions because this last piece has always been like the dumbest freaking thing in my opinion, and I don't know what the hell the purpose it was supposed to serve was. And now when I transform this, I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to feel stupid for even saying anything, I'm sure. But this weapon basically came with every mold or every variation of this figure. Bazooka, twin guns, whatever. And we got this because Cliffjumper once used a bazooka in the animated series. Now, one of the big differences between this, though, and the other Transformers is that rather than using a clear plastic for the windshield, it is actually a solid plastic. Honestly, I thought the plastic was actually supposed to be red with the paint on it for blue, but apparently it's a blue plastic. The color match is a lot better, though, than in the previous ones. Whenever they try to color match, and this is true with lighter colors more than the darker colors, but whenever they try to do the color match when they have the clear, it always looks awful. Oops. Articulation wise, the head can swivel back and forth. It does not appear to be on a ball joint. It may just be a swivel. Well, honestly, looking at it, it probably does have a ball joint in there. It's just really tight because for this to be a swivel, if it's a swivel, they had to have put his head together on there and sealed the head. There is a little bit of a leeway, so it probably is a ball joint because you could still just slam the ball joint in there even if you don't have much movement otherwise. But you can get it all around. For me, the horns on his head are actually hurting my fingers. Surprisingly, we don't actually have any waist articulation on him. Arms go up and down. We do have a bicep cut. We have a... So it's only about 90 degrees forward, but you can also go 90 degrees backwards. This is probably due to transformation. And the hands are on a spin. Again, we can't twist the waist, it appears. That's kind of a shame. We can kick forward yay far. We can kick back yay far. The knee does about 90 degrees, and they do sculpt it enough so that it doesn't look too awkward when the knee opens up. So that's nice. And we do have a ankle pivot rocker so that, you know, we can have him still flat on his feet. And boy, he got big feet. Now, we kind of have a reverse ab crunch here because we can't crunch forward, but he can go back, and that's, you know, obviously due to transformation. But hey, you can do the Matrix scene. Can't balance doing it, but, you know, whatever. If we want him holding his bazooka, or as mentioned before, we can do the twin guns. The problem with this is this extra piece here, which I absolutely loathe. And again, I'm not sure what the purpose of it actually is. I guess you could call it a club like this, but there's nowhere to really store it on him, you know? I mean, you could put it back there, that's about it. Now, let's see about transformation and if I can remember how to do this one. Okay, so for the moment here, right at the back, obviously we're getting somewhere, but I know that this has to go over here somehow. And I'm not sure how, because there's no pivot there. Unless, wait, no. This is the front, this is the back. You know, the details in there are really nice, and it keeps confusing me because it sort of looks like it should be a pivot. I mean, I can get it like this, but where is the... I'm missing something. Somewhere, something has to spin. Because the legs go together like this. This needs to flip around that way somehow. But I don't see. Is this Common Deluxe the thing that's going to defeat me this time? Alright, we're gonna have to do it. Yeah, okay, so this is showing a waist spin. Okay, so it shows it like this on the instructions. And then there is supposed to be a pivot point here. But it's not pivoting. Alright, so I just got back from soaking this in hot water. I've never had to do that with a transformer before to well, unfuse a joint. But it was that spot that I thought looked like it should have been a spin joint is a spin joint. It's just that it was so fused together that I could not move it. So now we have waist articulation as well. And I should be able to finish transforming it properly. Of course, he rolls like a brick. And I think that what they call it, mushroom pegs, I think, for the wheels when they do that like that, rather than do pin. I wish they would just go ahead and just do pins on all the wheels. Anyway, the other thing with this figure . Man, I am just like batting zero here. So they had the little skis there to help you recreate a scene, but I thought that I could have sworn these were supposed to attach down here too. To Yeah, it is still supposed to. Oh, okay. On the handle. That's why I was getting it wrong. So there's a slot on the handle that fits into the slot there. So he goes like that, and he's in ski mode for the water. And again, this is like pointless. Whew. Anyway, that's our Cliffjumper transformation. Again, this is basically useless. It's just an addition for the weapon mode that doesn't look all that good anyway. I am disappointed that I had to use hot water to fix the joint in there in order to finish the transformation. Seriously, it's like with the Missing Link Optimus Prime with his thigh swivel, where it was so fused together that you couldn't move it. In this case, I couldn't even work it loose just by playing with it like I eventually did with the convoy. In this case, I had this soaking in water, and I don't like doing it with the Transformers because of the metal parts in them. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review. Please feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Preferably subscribe and leave a like. This is one of those times when you can probably laugh at me quite thoroughly for f***ing up the transformation so thoroughly. Though, in my defense, it wasn't really my fault. Again, if that joint had actually twisted before, I actually would have transformed this guy just fine. Peace and love.